20 consecutive regular season victories for the Indianapolis Colts. They take on the Titans today. Indianapolis has won the toss. Tennessee will kick it off with Rob Baronis. Indianapolis will have Chad Simpson, backup running back, as the deep man. The last team to beat the Colts in the regular season, it was Tennessee, 31-21, October the 27th of 2008. Ian Eagle, Rich Gannon, the rest of our CBS crew. Colts, 7th year in a row with 11 or more wins. That's an NFL record. We're underway in this AFC South showdown. Simpson on the return. He crosses the 20, and that running lane closed up as he hit the 25-yard line. Gerald McRath getting down the field on special teams. A 25-yard return. Indy opens up with a 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Collie is out there as the third receiver. This really is their base offense. A die in the backfield. Fake the handoff. Manning looking to throw. And caught by Garcon. Off the deflection. Austin Collie, the intended receiver. And that's a sign when you know things are going your way, as Fuller goes down on the play for Tennessee. 27-yard hookup.
Well, a little bit of unexpected good fortune here for the Colts. You look here, pretty good coverage. You see Vince Fuller right there, right in position, covering the slot, and then there's Garcon right there to get the deflection. Very good bounce for the Indianapolis Colts.
Pierre Garcon, 2nd year out of Mount Union, been making plays all season. Right now, the concern for Tennessee is the status of Vincent Fuller. We'll step aside. Vincent Fuller on the Tennessee sideline. They're looking at his left leg. Nick Harper steps in for him on a 1st down. Running play to a die up the middle, and he's able to snake his way for a 4-yard gain. David Thornton there to make the stop. A good sign for Vincent Fuller up on his feet. Another look at the play.
Yeah, keep an eye on Chris Hope. He's actually going to fall on the back of his left knee there. And Vince Fuller is a guy they cannot afford to lose. He's that nickel defender and plays a lot in the slot, particularly against Peyton Manning in this offense.
And Manning throwing to Dallas Clark. Operating out of the slot. David Thornton, the linebacker, had the coverage. It's incomplete. And Fuller is back on the field for Tennessee. Great sign. 4 receivers set on a 3rd and 6. Tennessee trying to stall Indy's first drive of the day. Manning out of the gun. Manning fires. Garcon on a crossing play. Finally brought down inside the 10 by Michael Griffin. Peyton Manning has such tremendous chemistry with these receivers, and a 36-yard pickup.
And just keep an eye on Nick Harper up top. Just running a little dig route. Good job there. Plenty of time for Peyton Manning to step up in the pocket, trust that protection, and he makes a very accurate throw on the in route. This is going to be a problem. The Colts right now converting 50% of their 3rd down opportunities.
1st and goal for the Colts inside the 10, looking to get on the board first. Operating out of the gun. This crowd goes silent. Handoff, a dive. Spin move to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Indianapolis. What an impressive way to open up for the Colts.
Well, just keep an eye on that right side of that offensive line. You know Peyton Manning, he's going to get you in the best play possible based on the look. But look at Ryan Dean. He gets a nice job kicking out up top. Good press up there on those linebackers, giving Joseph a dive. Plenty of room to work that middle of the field.
Rich, 5 plays, 75 yards. The Colts made it look easy. Matt Stover, the veteran, filling in for the injured Adam Vinatieri. He knocks it through. An early punch by the Indianapolis offense in this highly anticipated matchup, the Colts and the Titans. Indianapolis with a 7-0 lead, a die, an 8-yard touchdown run, wrapping up a long drive. First possession of the day. Pat McAfee, the punter, kicks it off. Kenny Britt, the rookie out of Rutgers, will take it out of the end zone. Britt's got long strides and across the 25 and spilled out short of the 30-yard line by Ramon Humberg.
All right, I've seen real growth from him. I think he's playing smart, he's making good decisions, and he's not turning it over. I think that's the big thing. He's giving his team a chance to win each week.
Shotgun formation on a handoff for Johnson. Looks for a hole. and cuts it inside for a 3-yard gain. Kenny Britt, who's really taken advantage of the opportunity, the back injury to Justin Gage. On a 2nd and 7 for the Titans. Johnson. And darts up the middle. Johnson picks up 4 yards. Dan Muir, first man there, with a knee problem, but Jacob Lacey gets the start, the rookie out of Oklahoma State. They're starting 2 rookies at corner, along with Gerard Powers. Handoff to Johnson. And Johnson trying to sidestep, cannot get around Melvin Bullitt. And he has come up just shy of the first down. We'll see where they spot the football, and that's what Jeff Fisher is interested in. Very good spot for Tennessee.
Yeah, 3 straight runs. Clearly, this is an offense that's committed to running the ball behind a very good offensive line. I mean, this is who they are. They want to give the ball to Chris Johnson. They do it a number of different ways, but I think they're going to be just a little bit short.
Johnson leads the NFL in rushing, just under 1,400 yards this season. He's on pace for 2,030 yards. Oh. They give it to him. First down, Titans. Well, that was an excellent spot.
Well, you talk about a game of inches. It's really important, and each of these drives are critical today for Vince Young in this offense. You can't afford to get behind in a game against the Colts. They're built to play with the lead. You have to throw it a bunch. That plays right into their hands.
Vince Young, AFC Offensive Player of the Week after his performance against Arizona, 20-17. Dramatic come-from-behind victory. He'll throw it for the first time. Johnson, little swing pass, and Johnson cuts it to the perimeter and takes it to midfield. Another first down for Tennessee. That's 11 yards through the air.
You look at these running numbers, I mean, it's amazing what he needs to reach 2,000 and 142 yards a game to pass Eric Dickerson. I'll tell you, this guy is running hot right now. He's as good as any back in football, really a dominant rusher, and a real challenge for any team to stop.
But the one game he was stymied was earlier this season. First matchup between these two clubs on October the 11th. Indianapolis with a 31-9 victory. On a throw to the outside, complete to Nate Washington. Young has been throwing with so much more confidence, and maybe the biggest sign that Young's game has evolved was last week. In that win, only 8 rushing yards.
Yeah, really. I mean, he set career highs in pass attempts, completions, and yards. And I just think that they're really helping themselves by throwing the ball on first down. A high percentage of play action throws, high percentage throws really keep this defensive line on their heels.
Motion man is Algie Crumpler. And on the toss for Johnson. Johnson able to break 1 tackle, but stumbles ahead for a gain of 5. Gary Brackett, the steady middle linebacker for Indianapolis, makes that play defensively.
You know, we talked with Clint Session of the Colts on Friday, and he said the key to stopping Chris Johnson, you have to discourage him early. You have to get some hits on him. He thought that was the key there in the first matchup, and really get off to a lead and force Vince Young to beat you with his arm.
And Session also added, when Johnson gets to the second level, you might as well just stop running there. You're not going to catch him. He moves at warp speed. 7th play of the drive on a 2nd and 4 for Tennessee. Give is to Johnson. He gets the edge and able to turn the corner, angled out of bounds. Michael Roos with a key block on that left side. It's a 6-yard run and a new set of downs for the Titans to work with.
They know the run is coming, and yet they still can't stop it. You can see Bullock come down there early. He takes a poor angle. What happens with a guy like Chris Johnson is you don't believe his speed until you actually see it firsthand. I always said that the words of wisdom, don't underestimate his speed, but more importantly, don't overestimate your speed.
1st and 10, Tennessee with an impressive drive to open things up. And Johnson off the inside handoff. Indianapolis was ready.
And this is what you want to do. You want to force them to run east and west. You don't want to allow them to get up on the second level because, as you pointed out, you're not going to catch them. Good job here. The linebackers are fast flow backers for the Colts. They have a lot of speed, not big guys, but boy, they can really run sideline to sideline.
On a 2nd and 9 now for Tennessee. 5 straight victories for the Titans. First team to win 5 in a row after starting 0-6. Lendale White has checked in. Fake the handoff. Young sets up the screen on the far side. Ahmad Hall turns it upfield, and the fullback is spun down inside the 10. Little trickery from Mike Heimerdinger and company. That's a 15-yard pass play.
Boy, great action here. Watch the extension by Vince Young. Does a nice job with his eyes. They have the screen on the backside to the fullback. They have a number of different screens. They like to run them on the early downs. Really, they caught the Colts guessing.
And Young is 3 of 3 to open things up. 40 yards through the air. White stays in there. 10th play of the drive for Tennessee. And a 1st and goal just inside the 10.
Well, this is really where you got to be sharp as an offense. They force you to kick a lot of field goals down this part of the field.
Give is to White, bulldozing his way inside the 5. It'll be 2nd and goal.
You have to find a way to score touchdowns. The field goals will eventually catch up to you against Peyton Manning in this offense.
Now at the 3-yard line, number 1 rushing offense in the NFL, 168 yards per game. Tennessee looking for the equalizer. On 2nd and goal, handoff Johnson, and he is stuffed. No gain for Johnson, right up the gut. Clint Session fully prepared.
Boy, I tell you what, you just keep an eye. Look at the push up front, but they do a nice job. And look at them fill in there. You see Sessions, you see Bullock coming there. This secondary has held up really well despite a rash of injuries. They lost Jackson, they lost Sanders to IR. Get Hayden back today, but the young players have really stepped up well in that secondary and played well.
3rd and goal for the Titans. Motion man is Washington. Young wants to throw it. Back of the end zone and incomplete. The timing was off. Washington the intended target, and a matchup with Jacob Lacey, and Young comes up limping.
Well, that's not good to see.
Tennessee will have to settle for the field goal attempt. Young's trying to jog it off. Rob Baronis will come onto the field.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Colts they were fortunate that they never cover the fullback in the flat. Vince is looking the other way.
Oh, he got hit. Just as he released the football, he got hit down low. Now this is like an extra point for Rob Baronis, who has been outstanding since the opener. His numbers are impressive. Baronis knocks it through from 20 yards away. Vince Young jogged off the field after getting hit by Antonio Johnson down low. Young appears to be okay. 13 play, 69-yard drive. Johnson had 34 total yards, 23 on the ground as Heimerdinger and Young discuss the series that was, and now Rob Baronis kicks it off to Chad Simpson. Colts lead it 7-3. Simpson from the 2. And Simpson shoots through the hole. Barreled over out across the 35-yard line. Indianapolis with a 7-3 lead over Tennessee. 6:28 to play in the first quarter, and the Colts take over a 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. A die in the backfield. Had 69 yards rushing last week in that win over Houston. And a die slammed down shy of the 40-yard line. It's a 4-yard gain. Tony Brown in on the stop.
When you look at the pace and tempo, they don't give you a chance as a defense to catch your breath.
Clark set up in the slot to the right for Indianapolis. Out of the gun, Manning. Throws incomplete. He was looking for Reggie Wayne. And it'll be 3rd down coming up for Indy.
I don't think we saw one ball hit the ground, and Peyton Manning wasn't at all happy about that. The attention to detail, I think it spills over to the rest of the players.
On a 3rd and 6 for Manning and the Colts. From the gun. And Manning incomplete. Austin Collie in a matchup with Cortland Finnegan. Fans wanted a flag. There was some contact there between the rookie Collie from BYU and Finnegan, the Pro Bowl corner. Colts will punt.
I've been very impressed with Cortland Finnegan. I mean, this even when you visit with him last night, he has had a wonderful year this year. He's the guy. He's their emotional leader in the secondary. He'll challenge it. You're going to see him today. He's going to be matched up with Reggie Wayne most of the day.
Yeah, Finnegan loves the physical aspect, and he said, look, wide receivers don't like the physical play. If you play them tough by the start of the 3rd, they don't want any part of it. Case Fahorn hit as he hauled it in. Risky play by Case Fahorn as Tim Jennings got down the field in a hurry. 5:38 remaining, opening quarter. Colts with a 7-3 lead over the Titans. And Tennessee with 1st and 10, short of the 20-yard line. Young to throw it. They handle the pressure initially. Throws on the move, and it's broken up. Kenny Britt matched up with Gerard Powers, rookie against rookie, Rutgers and Auburn. And with the Jets winning on Thursday night, making things a little bit more interesting in the AFC East. New England still on top. Handoff, it's Johnson. Chris Johnson, a dart. And a first down for Tennessee as Antoine Bethea was there to bring him down. 11 yards for Johnson.
Well, look at the patience right here. It's not there. He has the ability to hop to his left. I mean, he's an explosive player, and I think it's really amazing when you look at him. He's become very decisive in terms of his decision-making once he has that ball in his hands.
And we will keep an eye on that number, which continues to climb for Chris Johnson. Needs to average 142 yards per game to break the all-time record held by Eric Dickerson.
A little bit of option.
And Young on the toss for Johnson. He got hit down low by Melvin Bullock. That's one way to slow him down, but it's still a gain of 7. Mike Heimerdinger, who calls the plays for the Tennessee Titans, he recognizes, we know that offenses can be exotic and intricate. Sometimes you just got to keep it simple.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing. The best advice he's gotten all season came from his daughter this week on the phone. He said she called him. He was in the office one night late trying to put the game plan together. She said, "Dad, it's not that difficult. Just hand it to Chris, toss it to Chris, and throw it to Chris, and come home early." I mean, it's that simple. And he told us last night, he says, "Hey, that's a pretty good advice from my daughter."
Yeah, dinner will be on the table. I've already put together your game plan for the week. Young dials up the long ball, separation. Nate Washington drops the football. He beat Powers and would have had an easy 6 in stride.
Well, that's just one you have to move on from. And this is where they've really helped themselves, taking some shots. Look at this. Washington, he runs right by Powers. It's a perfect throw. And that's not one you normally would see a guy like Nate Washington, a veteran player, drop. Just a lack of concentration right there at the end of that route. Boy, when you have them that wide open, well, you have to find a way to finish plays. Those missed opportunities against a team like the Colts really come back to haunt you late in the game.
They had the vertical speed, the threat they were looking for. They just could not make the connection. Young slings it. Johnson on the run, and Johnson hit after he gets the first down across the 40-yard line by Session. 5-yard gain, and the Titans' drive continues.
Yeah, these little swing routes, there's nothing more than runs, like a toss to him. They do a nice job getting him involved in the passing game a number of different ways. He's a fantastic screen runner, but they're just looking for ways to get him touches, get him out on the perimeter where he can go to work.
Mike Heimerdinger did say this is the fastest front 7 that they will see all season. Johnson with 55 total yards on his own. He'll get a breather on a 1st and 10 from the 40. Quick snap out of the gun. Young, plenty of time, and throws over the middle, makes the connection to Nate Washington. And a solid gain of 6 yards on first down. Brackett and Session combined to bring down the former Pittsburgh Steeler.
And clearly when you watch the film, I think this is where he's getting more comfortable. In the pocket, I think they're giving him a little bit more of the offense each week. There's a certain trust factor that I think Mike Heimerdinger has with Vince Young now. They're opening this offense up a little bit. He's really taken advantage of it the last 5 weeks.
That's not something that comes automatic just because you're a high first-round draft pick.
Yeah, I think the big thing, and he's taking care of the football, making good decisions.
Lendale White steamrolling his way into Indianapolis territory, and a first down for the Titans, a 7-yard gain for White. Remember last week, inactive. He was late for a walkthrough on Saturday, and he paid the price with a roster spot on Sunday.
Yeah, look at all that movement up front. That's the strength of this offense. Clearly, this offensive line. It starts with Kevin Mawai at the center position, but you have 2 very good tackles in Stewart and Roos. These guys, they get pressure. They get push up inside. They come off on the second level. Very, very good group to run behind.
Another long drive for this Tennessee offense. They've looked good here in the first quarter, trailing Indianapolis 7-3. Young, and too high. Looking for Algie Crumpler. Incomplete. Now, don't fall asleep on the New England Patriots. I know they've had a couple of tough losses, but
yeah, they don't lose 2 in a row either. That's another thing. They're very good when they come from behind after a loss.
Chris Johnson. Johnson again slowed down. Antonio Johnson, the former Titan, was there. He was with Tennessee's practice squad when the Colts picked him up.
Well, when you talk to the Colts defensively, they say, listen, we know Chris Johnson, he's going to get his yards. What we need to prevent are the big runs. And that's the key. just corralling him at the line of scrimmage, not letting him run loose in that secondary. That's going to be the key for this Colts defense.
Third and 9. Fans come to their feet here at Lucas Oil Stadium. 3 receivers set. Nickel package for Indianapolis defensively. Rush is coming. Look out! And Young thrown down. Big loss on the play. Take your pick as the Colts got pushed. Freeney was in there. Eric Foster was in there. As was Clint Session.
Yeah, this is what you want to stay out of the third and long situation, because one thing they can do is rush the pass. You see Dwight Freeney right there, and Freeney told us the other day, he said, listen, as it relates to rushing the quarterback, you have to know the guy you're hunting, where he is going to be and what he's going to do. They know that Vince Young is going to move around. This guy is not going to be on the spot. Very nice job there by Dwight Freeney.
Well, the Colts defense able to buckle down and stop Tennessee. Brett Kern punting, averaging 45 yards per punt. TJ rushing, fair catch. Well, he took a lot of heat for that. Rich, what was your whole take then, and what's your take on it now that they've ripped off 5 wins in a row?
Well, I think clearly he knows what he's doing. I think he's a lot of respect, obviously, for Tony Dungy. And here's a guy that doesn't worry about job security. He's done a great job with this group, and they've rallied since then.
Well, we've had a clean game so far. Ron Winter.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
First penalty of the day, and Ryan Deem says that's my fault, the 9th-year veteran. Underrated at that right tackle position. And Jim Caldwell, the first chance that we've had to meet with him as a head coach, I know you've spoken to him in the past, impressions of his temperament and how he goes about his job. We'll talk about that in a moment. Manning throwing a deep ball and drops it in the bucket. Pierre Garçon hauls it in over the shoulder grab. Chris Hope and Nick Harper back there deep, and Manning threw a perfect ball to Garçon.
You know, he sticks this right in the middle of double coverage. You know, you see Hope coming over the top. Harper knows that he has help, and yet Peyton Manning, he has the arm strength to make these difficult throws. The other thing he does a great job of is holding the safety with his eyes.
All of his completions, all 3 have come to Garçon. Garçon has 99 yards receiving. Shotgun. On a handoff, a dive looking for the corner and thrown down by Vincent Fuller, a flag down. Horse collar by Fuller. They had done everything right defensively, able to flood that area of the field to stop a dive.
Boy, just can't afford to give this offense any more opportunities.
Personal foul. Illegal horse collar tackle. Defense number 22. 15-yard penalty. And a first down.
And Fuller is known as an excellent tackler from that safety position.
Boy, you just got to be so careful when you're grabbing players on the perimeter like this, and you just know when you grab them by the back of that jersey up high there, right above their shoulder pads, that it's going to draw that penalty every time.
Indy's good enough on their own offensively to give them help with penalties. Is just a killer on defense. Start of the second quarter here with Indianapolis in front 7-3. Won't get fooled again from the Who. Halftime of the Super Bowl. We'll have it for you here on CBS. Down in South Florida. Indianapolis certainly believes they have a shot to go on a Super Bowl run. They're undefeated, one of 2 undefeated teams in the NFL along with New Orleans. Rush is on. And it's rare that Peyton Manning will get fooled, as Tennessee got Kyle Vanden Bosch through the hole as Manning got rid of it.
Well, he doesn't take a lot of sacks, just 10 through 11 games. He's got great awareness in the pocket. You see Kyle Vanden Bosch come free, but he has a thorough understanding of protections, and he always knows where his quick answer throw is, and he's willing, most importantly, to throw it away and avoid sacks.
Vanden Bosch this season, only 3 sacks, went to the Pro Bowl in 05 and 07. This defense, though, very different than the first meeting between these 2 teams. We'll get into that coming up. Manning on the draw for a dive. Vanden Bosch was there to wrap him up, along with David Thornton. And this drive slowing down at the 34-yard line. It's a loss of 1 on the play, 3rd and 11.
Well, you talk about this defense. I mean, I think the big difference the last 5 weeks is they've gotten back to basics. They're stopping the run. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. And as you point out, they're healthy again. I mean, they got a number of players back in that secondary. It's made a huge difference.
Out of the gun, Manning throwing on the move. He's got Clark curling it upfield And Dallas Clark has enough for the first down.
This guy is hard to figure out, Dallas Clark. I mean, he gives him so much flexibility. They move him all over the place, different formations. You see him right there. He's just going to go up and work on Keith Bullock. He has a great feel for the type of coverage, whether it's man or zone. He knows where to sit down in those holes.
And Manning telling our group that Clark is so pivotal to what the Colts do offensively. You can line him up anywhere on the field, and he can do anything.
Yeah, you don't know how they're going to handle it defensively. They're going to put a nickel back in there to cover and bring a safety down.
Joseph Adai. Oh, pretty juke move by Adai. Ryan Deem, another good block up front. That's an 11-yard gain for Adai on the cut.
And you look at the Colts offensively. They're #1 in passing. They're 31st in the National Football League at running the ball. But as we talked with Jim Caldwell on Friday, he said, listen, we can run the ball when we have to, particularly in the red zone and at the end of games to finish it off. We've gotten much better here the last 3 or 4 weeks.
On a 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line for Indianapolis.
Well, you just got to hold them to field goals down here. They talked about it in the meeting last night. They're going to get their yards. You just can't allow them to score touchdowns in this part of the field.
Adai, spin move and stonewall to the 10-yard line. A gain of 2. Tony Brown there defensively for Tennessee.
Yeah, really, it's that simple. You know, you talk with Chuck Cecil, defensive coordinator. He said, look, they're going to get their yards. We know that. Even field goals, that's okay. It's just we can't allow them to score touchdowns down here. It just makes it so much more difficult for our offense. They have to play great red zone defense here today.
Colts working quickly on offense on a 2nd and 8, 8th play of the drive. Manning, shotgun, throwing, and incomplete. Collie in the area in a matchup with Vincent Fuller. It'll be 3rd and 8.
And that's why that nickel defensive back is so important for the Titans. You see him right there. He's going to be matched up on Collie. He's going to be matched up on Dallas Clark, Garcon. They do a good job moving him around, and he gives him a lot of flexibility in that defense. They'll blitz him, they'll drop him in coverage. He can play at every level of that defense.
First 6 games, Tennessee allowed an average of 33 points per game. Last 5, 18 points per game. 3rd and 8 from the 10. From the gun, Manning steps up. Manning buys time, throwing underneath. Joseph Adai fighting for extra yardage, and he's got a first down. Cortland Finnegan saves a touchdown, but Indianapolis will have more cracks at it.
Boy, nice job there by Peyton Manning. You can see him making the correction there in the huddle. Watch him slide and step up. He does this as well as anybody. Kicks it out to Joseph Adai, and then Joseph Adai makes a great effort here to twist and spin for this first down.
So 1st and goal for the Colts. Indianapolis with a chance to add to its lead. At the fullback position is the linebacker Cody Glenn. Handoff Adai, and bulldozes his way in. Touchdown, Indianapolis. Colts extend the lead here in the 2nd quarter. They don't have a natural fullback. You'll see Gian Robinson there at times, so they go with a defensive player to help create some extra running room.
Yeah, really, they even pull Hugo there, and he doesn't even get over there in time. Joseph Adai does most of that himself, running with some power down inside the red zone.
So Adai with his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. That gives him 9 on the season. Matt Stover on for the extra point. And Indianapolis with a 14-3 lead. Joseph Adai went to the Pro Bowl in 2007. His numbers have fallen off since then, but he's had an effective year. All-around skills for Peyton Manning, and Manning gave him a lot of credit for what he's done improving his pass protection skills at the running back position. McAfee kicking off for Kenny Britt. He'll take it out of the end zone. And Britt sprawled out at the 21-yard line by Cody Glenn. Now the Tennessee Titans' last 5 games, they've played with that nothing-to-lose attitude. They've talked about running the table and making a playoff run. They find themselves down 14-3 here in the 2nd quarter. Young throwing. Deep ball is hauled in by Britt. Well, the 2nd half of the season for Kenny Britt, the 1st-round pick with big playability out of Rutgers, all-time leading receiver in Scarlet Knights history. 25 yards. He's gaining confidence every week.
Yeah, again, play action on 1st down. But you see Vince Young, he throws this ball way before Kenny Britt is out of his cut. Good job anticipating that throw by Vince Young.
Young last week, 387 yards through the air and the game-winning touchdown to Britt with no time remaining in the victory over Arizona. On 1st and 10, Young throwing again. Short toss, Hall with a spin move, and loses the football. Recovered by Foster, and the Colts have it. Clint Session helped knock it free. Second lost fumble of the season for the steady fullback Ahmad Hall.
Yeah, people ask me what's the big difference between the Tennessee Titans the first 6 weeks when they had the 6 losses in the last 5 games where they've been on that winning streak. That's it, taking care of the football. Done a much better job of it the last 5 weeks.
Chad Simpson is in at running back for Indianapolis. They take over a 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. Fake the run, Manning steps up, and Manning shoots one deep. Incomplete. Tipped by Michael Griffin. Ball was hung up there. Reggie Wayne, the intended receiver, and the first time we've called his name so far today.
Watch Peyton Manning at the top of the drop. Watch him step up here. He does as good a job of this as any quarterback in the league, but he gets greedy here. He tries to stick one into double coverage there, and that's not a good decision by Peyton Manning. Boy, they've done a nice job with Reggie Wayne today. They've just shut him down.
From the gun on 2nd and 10 for the Colts. Again, fake the handoff, moving pocket, and set up the short throw to Dallas Clark. He's hit short of the 45-yard line in Tennessee territory. Gain of 8. Nick Harper with the stick. And the veteran back in action over the last few weeks. He's a physical corner and a former Indianapolis Colt.
Yeah, it's good to get him back. I think that's been the big difference when you look at their secondary. Nick Harper's healthy again. Cortland Finnegan's back in the mix. Certainly, we mentioned Vince Fuller earlier. And that was the problem in the first time around. Really beat up in the secondary.
And Joseph Adai will return for Indianapolis on a 3rd and 2. They'll work out of the slot. Empty backfield for Indy. 10 minutes to go, first half. Colts lead at 14-3. Manning throwing and broken up. Clark, the intended receiver. Griffin drew the assignment, the ball-hawking safety, and Indianapolis unable to take advantage of the field position.
Look at all the man-to-man across the board. We're seeing a lot of it on 3rd down. When you talk to this Tennessee staff, they said we want to disrupt their timing and the rhythm in the passing game. They felt they could do that by playing a lot of man-to-man on 3rd down.
And that's a catch that Dallas Clark normally makes. Kevin Casefaharn, the return man, standing at his own 9-yard line. Pat McAfee, the rookie out of West Virginia, averaging just under 45 yards per punt. He's also a kicker in college for the Mountaineers. McAfee trying to place this one inside the 10. And Casefaharn with a fair catch called for. Lucas Oil Stadium opened in August of 2008. They'll host the Super Bowl in 2012, the Final Four here on CBS. Coming up in April. Great facility. Titans take over a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Important series here for Tennessee. And it's Johnson going against the grain as he slashes his way for a 4-yard gain. Kelvin Hayden there to greet him for the Colts.
Well, the Colts really felt like this was going to be their toughest game to date. They're facing a team that has a little streak of its own right now. And it's hard sometimes to put out that fire. Always helps when you get off to a good start at home.
2nd and 6. Johnson trying to get ahead of steam, and he crosses the 20-yard line. Now a 3rd and 3 from the 20-yard line for Jeff Fisher's team. Crowd reacting here in Indianapolis.
Boy, they run it in this situation a lot.
They run it again. Johnson stutter step, stays on his feet. And that second effort gets him 4 yards and a 1st down. He has not been able to break out to the clear just yet and get to the second level.
And that's why there's such a premium placed on production on the early downs, because if you can keep it to 3rd and 2 or 3, it gives you options on 3rd down. You can throw it, and the next best thing, hand it to Chris Johnson.
Injury for Tennessee, and it's Nate Washington, the 5th-year wide receiver. Washington with 31 catches on the season, 337 yards, 5 touchdowns, came over as a free agent from Pittsburgh after winning the Super Bowl. He was trying to block Bethea on the play.
A little bit of a size disadvantage there, isn't it?
Now Washington checks in at 185, but Thay's got about 20 pounds on him.
Stay away from those big, strong safeties.
Was that your game plan?
That was it. I always looked for the smaller numbers, the 20s. And
yeah. They're going to help Washington up. Indianapolis has the 14-3 lead with 8:18 to go in this first half. Washington appears to be okay. And they don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver because of the injury to Justin Gage. Gage went up and made a brilliant catch against San Francisco on the road, and he hasn't played since because of a back injury.
Yeah, and he was playing really well. That's why they're really relying on a guy like Kenny Britt to step up. I really think that the key for the Titans, they have to stay on the field. Keep Peyton Manning off it, run the ball, convert third downs, and when you get your opportunities in the red zone, you have to score touchdowns.
Young throwing on first down, almost intercepted. Would have been a pick six for Kelvin Hayden. In a matchup with Lavelle Hawkins, who checked in to replace Washington.
I put this on both of them. Not a good decision by Vince Young, but watch Hawkins at the end. Come on back to the ball. You have to come back to the ball on the boundary. And right there you see Hayden. He does a good job driving on it. That's a bad route right there at the top.
Hayden had an interception in the Super Bowl for a touchdown, you might recall.
These corners, they sit at 12 yards. They have their eyes in the backfield. They drive on a lot of routes. Not a good job there by Lavelle Hawkins.
On second down, Johnson makes a cut and hit from behind. He's able to gain a couple extra yards as he got hit by Fili Moala, the rookie out of USC. It's a 4-yard gain for Johnson. Dwight Freeney has not been playing and seeing a lot of the field on first and second down. They rotate him in on third down. Freeney trying to bounce back from the abdomen injury that kept him out of action last week, the win over Houston.
Yeah, you got to be smart with him. As you said, that injury last week and didn't play last week. So you want to be smart with him. Monitor his reps early in this game.
On a 3rd and 6 down. Tennessee trailing 14-3. Johnson with 56 yards rushing. Play clock was winding down, so the Titans forced to use a timeout. On a 3rd and 6, Nate Washington has returned for Tennessee. Shotgun, Vince Young, rush is coming. Young gets rid of it and complete. He throws a strike to Lavelle Hawkins in the spread set. Gerard Powers there, the rookie out of Auburn, in coverage. It's a 10-yard gain. This is a different Vince Young that we've seen over the last 5 weeks. Confident, poised, and crisp.
Yeah, and they've talked to him all week about stepping up in the pocket. You know, you're going to get a lot of the edge pressure with Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis. Between them, they've combined for 19 sacks this year, so it's going to be really important for Vince to step up inside and trust that protection.
Young, AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Johnson, AFC Offensive Player of the Month for Tennessee. Double tight end set, Scaife and Crumpler. Play action. Young slings it to the far side, and Nate Washington was covered tightly by Kelvin Hayden. So we mentioned Chris Johnson, AFC Player of the Month. Offensively, AFC Defensive Player of the Month is Robert Mathis, going head-to-head here this afternoon in Indianapolis.
Yeah, you know, you always think about Dwight Freeney, but quietly Robert Mathis over there, he's played very, very well. You look at what he's done in the month of November, 9.5 sacks on the season. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level and makes it very difficult for an offensive line. You have to kind of pick your poison with Freeney and Mathis.
2nd and 10, Young fires over the middle to Algie Crumpler. And a short gain, 5 yards on 2nd down. It'll set up 3rd and 5. He was touched up by Gary Brackett.
You know, everybody's talked about Vince Young's improvement the last 5 weeks. I think a lot of it, you know, you think about the job that Mike Heimerdinger has done with him. Done a wonderful job adjusting the game plan each week to really focus on things that Vince does well and really has a certain comfort level with.
3rd and 5 from the 43-yard line of Tennessee. Lacey in as a 5th defensive back for the Colts. 9th play of the drive. Young forced out of the pocket. Young on a pump, throwing on the move, and intercepted! Picked off by Lacey, out of bounds. Young was trying to press the issue, and the Colts made him pay.
I don't know if he got fooled or this is just a poor decision. I think Vince Young was in between whether he should run or try and make that throw on the boundary. Right here, you see a good job by Bethea. He's looking there, and right at the last second, his receiver stops. You can see right there Kenny Britt, and he allows Lacey to jump right in front of that throw.
And Young said something to Britt after the play, and probably, obviously we just heard from a quarterback, probably told him, look, you got to continue with the route. Vince Young is down.
Oh, it looks like the knee.
Young in pain along the Tennessee sideline as the Colts take over. Second turnover of the day. Handoff, a dive, and squeezes his way through a hole, running inside the 40, a 4-yard gain. Thornton and Hay combined to bring him down.
Boy, he must have hurt it when he came back. I think he hurts it when he tries to come back onto the field. Just watch him get up. I think he's okay right here. I think he hurts it right here, right at the end of this one.
2nd and 6 for Indianapolis. Keep it on the ground, and a dive. Joseph a dive, very close to a first down. Kyle Gavan, the right guard, pulled as they continue to work on Vince Young and that right leg. Kerry Collins, the former starter, now the backup, warming up for Tennessee.
Boy, you just can't afford to lose a guy like Vince Young right now. He's been playing so well. They've had a great rhythm with this offense, and they've really tweaked and adjusted this game plan. Now you have to wonder if Kerry Collins comes in, it's going to make things a whole lot more difficult for offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger.
An inch. They didn't get it.
Well, I'll tell you, that's close. You got a straight edge ruler out there.
Well, this was moments ago on the bench with Vince Young, and it was almost like a delayed reaction. He came off the field after the interception. He sat down on the bench and then buckled over in pain.
Well, that was a delayed reaction, wasn't it? I can't imagine what happened there.
Remember, he had a knee injury in the opener last year, which opened up the door for Kerry Collins to take over the starting quarterback position. Young then had some issues off the field. 3rd and inches now for the Colts. Adai in the backfield. Joseph Adai. He's got a first down. Sliding through to the 30-yard line. Tony Brown whiffed on the initial burst. It's a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, that was his left knee. This one looked like it might have been his right knee.
Mike Hart has checked in for the first time. Manning throwing. It'll be Hart releasing out of the backfield. Oh, pretty move by Hart as he cuts it inside and brought down inside the 20. He made David Thornton miss on a little zigzag for 13 yards.
Well, I'll tell you, their tempo is very impressive offensively. I mean, they want to control the pace and the flow of the game and really dictate to the defense. Peyton Manning does a great job of that. They get right back up at the line of scrimmage. It really limits what the Tennessee Titans can do defensively in terms of substitutions and dialing up some of the pressures.
And first catch of the season for Hart. And gets the call. Inside run for Hart in his 2nd year out of Michigan. Former 6th-round draft pick in 2008. He was on the practice squad, and they brought him up this week to the active roster. It's a 4-yard gain.
You know, when you go and break down the Colts offensively, there's not a lot of personnel groupings or formations throughout the course of the game. I mean, there's not a lot of shifts and motions. What they really want to do is they want to line up and preview the front, let Peyton get them into the best possible play.
And a quick throw on the slant to Pierre Garçon. Nick Harper there. And first down for Indianapolis.
Well, watch how quick this ball comes out. The old slant throw. And you always look at Peyton Manning. His accuracy, his location on throws, very precise. That's why he's completing 70% right now.
First and goal from the 4-yard line for the Colts. Donald Brown is out, the backup running back from UConn with a chest injury. Mike Hart getting an opportunity. On first and goal, fade route. Garçon, the intended receiver. And Nick Harper with the coverage for Tennessee.
You know, talking to Peyton Manning on Friday, he really likes Pierre Garçon, a guy that he thinks is very physical, particularly in this part of the field. He can use his size and strength and go up and get some of those fade throws.
You just gave that Garçon a little bit of flavor.
You
Say
like
it again.
that?
Yeah.
Pierre Garçon.
Yeah. You got it.
I was a French. I took French in high school.
I did not.
I did.
I was Spanish
3 years
all the way.
ago.
What do you got? Do you have anything left?
Parlez-vous français? How about that?
Yeah, that was excellent. 2nd and goal for Indianapolis. And movement. We have not seen a lot of mistakes here. Tony Hugo starting for Charlie Johnson on that left side. We'll see who they got. Take your pick.
False start. Offense number 71. The 5-yard penalty remains second down.
And it was Ryan Deem on the right side for the Colts. So back it up. 55 penalties, the fewest in the NFL. And you see that number and you say, well, that's impressive. But there's a much bigger story there. And it's the tone that's set by Bill Polian in this organization. They just don't accept mistakes as part of the equation.
I think it's attention to detail at every level of the organization.
Second and goal. Manning throwing. Reggie Wayne finally gets in on the act with his first catch of the day, but it'll be well short of the goal line. David Thornton there to bring him down. Vince Young, this is a helpless position. Your defense on the field trying to limit Indianapolis to a field goal attempt, where the Titans already down 14-3 and time trickling away late stages of the second quarter.
Yeah, you just can't afford to get behind against a team like this. I mean, it becomes a track meet with Peyton Manning in this offense. They can put up a lot of points in a hurry.
Third and goal for the Colts. 9th play of the drive. And Manning was trying to get Tennessee to jump offside. The Colts looking to punch it in here and take a commanding lead over the Tennessee Titans. Third and goal for Indianapolis after the 2-minute warning. Colts lead at 14-3.
Empty backfield set. Ball should come out pretty quick. Well, he does as good a job of this as anybody. He previews the front. He's going to get him the best play possible based on the front coverage.
Play clock winding down. Manning out of the gun. Manning throws. Touchdown, Austin Collie. And the Colts are rolling in the first half against Tennessee.
Boy, just great patience by Peyton Manning. He actually started to work the left side of that progression. Wasn't there. Look at his eyes. Watch his eyes. He's going to start to his left. Look, not there. He comes all the way back across the formation to find Austin Collie in the back of the end zone.
Rich, that's his third read on the play.
That's just great patience, and that's experience by a veteran player.
Matt Stover on for the extra point. 9 plays, 42 yards off of the interception, which helped set things up for Indianapolis. Austin Collie, 5th touchdown of the season for the 4th-round draft pick out of BYU. He is a technician at that wide receiver spot. Young receivers who come in and produce. Peyton Manning makes players around him better.
Look at all the communication that goes on there at the line of scrimmage. He's going to watch him move Bullock. With his eyes right there, Keith Bullock, watch Keith Bullock. He starts all the way back over to his right, and he gives that little gap right in the back there for Austin Collie.
Peyton Manning, first player in NFL history with 25 touchdown passes in 12 straight seasons.
You know, when you study them, they are very efficient in the passing game. I mean, there's great execution. Everybody is where they're supposed to be. And, of course, you have a very extremely accurate quarterback in Peyton Manning.
And, again, we bring up Bill Polian and that scouting staff, finding the right people to fit in. Austin Collie was out there. He was available for everybody in the NFL. But Colts felt he was a perfect fit. All-time leading receiver in BYU history in terms of yards. Pat McAfee will kick it off. 7th-round draft pick of the Colts this year. And Kenny Britt is deep. It's now 21-3 Indianapolis. Britt takes it out of the end zone. Britt slowed down as he crossed the 30-yard line and forced out of bounds. A 39-yard return. You've got 1:49 to work with. You trail 21-3. And Vince Young back out there. Whatever that knee injury was is not going to keep him out of action.
Well, you got 2 timeouts. You need a little of that 2-minute magic that they had at the end of the game last week against Arizona. Any score here would be huge before the half.
That was an 18-play, 99-yard drive for the win. Young to Britt for the game-winning touchdown. Give is to Johnson. And Johnson runs into a wall. Clint Session. What did he tell our group? You got to hit him early. And you cannot let him get to the second level. When it's off to the races, it's good night.
You know, I just think Clint Session, he's a guy that was started outside in this defense, and he's really played very well at that weak linebacker position. He's been trained inside at the Mike, but I think he's really making a lot of plays outside. We got a chance to sit down with him Friday night. He said, listen, that's the important thing. We got to get hits on Chris Johnson early in this football game. We have to be physical with him at the line of scrimmage.
So Indianapolis uses a timeout with 1:32 to go, thinking that they could get the football back and maybe put some points on the board. 2nd and 9. Johnson so far 15 carries, 57 yards. Young to throw it. Young over the middle. And catch is made by Bo Scaife. That Texas connection. Young is very comfortable with his college teammate Bo Scaife. 14 yards and a first down for the Titans.
You know, I think his preparation has improved tremendously. You talk about Vince. I think that's where he's made his most improvement the last 5 weeks.
Out of the gun. Able to find Chris Johnson, who leans forward for a gain of 3. Hayden and Session there to touch him up. And the clock is moving. We will hit 1 minute to play in this first half.
You have plenty of time in this situation. Just got to make good decisions. Can't afford a sack.
Young in trouble. Young gets out of it. And Vince Young, first time we've seen him leave the pocket and use his legs as he scampers for a first down, angled out of bounds. Oh, and he comes up limping just a bit.
Yeah, he's a tremendous athlete who can really drive a defense crazy with his legs. This is where he's really helped this offense the last couple weeks, pulling the ball down, converting some big first downs with his legs.
So the line of scrimmage is now the 39-yard line of Indianapolis. 45 seconds to play, first half. 3 receivers set. Britt, Washington, and Hawkins for Tennessee. And now a 4th receiver. It's the tight end. Young throws up for grabs and caught. Excellent grab by Hawkins. He hauls it in after getting leveled by Bullitt. 24-yard pass and catch.
Boy, what a great throw by Vince Young. He's going to jam this one right down the seam. Right before the safety can get there, you see Melvin Bullitt. Good concentration at the top there by Lavelle Hawkins.
Now Bullitt's a big hitter. He's developed very quickly as Tennessee has used a timeout. Bullitt's only in his 3rd year at Texas A&M. We know they don't have Bob Sanders because of that torn bicep.
Well, you went back and watched the game last week, the Tennessee-Arizona game. I really felt it all came together for the offense last week. I mean, it's the first time since Jeff Fisher has been the coach in 15 and a half seasons that they've had a 300-yard passer, a 100-yard rusher, and a 100-yard receiver in a game. So I really felt like it really started to slow down for Vince Young. I thought that was clearly his best performance as a pro in that win over the Cardinals.
Young has the 1 interception today. 12 of 19, 136 yards. Manning, 10 of 18. Remember, Manning comes in completing his passes at a 70% clip. His numbers have been off the charts. On first down after the timeout, Young pumps, throws, and nobody home. Nate Washington, an in route. Young was throwing on an out route.
Yeah, confusion. And again, in this part of the field, boy, you just can't afford those type of mistakes. We've seen that a number of times today with Vince Young and some of these receivers just not being on the same page.
They had a season-high 532 yards of offense last week. They've actually outgained Indianapolis so far today, 207 to 201.
Well, this is what separates the men from the boys, being able to convert in these opportunities.
On 2nd and 10, Young throwing underneath, turning it upfield, Bo Scaife. And he's brought down just shy of the 5. Timeout taken by Jeff Fisher with 24 seconds left. Now you think back to that Indianapolis timeout. That gave Tennessee an extra chance to catch their breath and come up with a play as Indy stopped the clock earlier on this possession.
Well, Indy is very good in red zone defense. I mean, you think about what happened the last couple of weeks. They force you to kick field goals. And they did it to Houston last week. They held Baltimore to 5 field goals 2 weeks ago. It's a reason they're 3rd in scoring defense, giving up just 16.7 a game.
Well, first and foremost, Tennessee's got to get the first down here. They still have 24 seconds to work with. It's a 3rd and 1. They can run it and then spike the football to stop the clock if they get the first down. They have no timeouts to work with. They trail 21 to 3. And a 3rd and 1 from the 6. Johnson in the backfield. 4 receiver set. Young throws, caught by Britt. Touchdown, Tennessee. Working against Jacob Lacey, and the Titans get a late score in the 2nd quarter before halftime to cut into the Indy lead.
Boy, great call by the Titans. The Colts were thinking run all the way. They brought a number of people up around the line of scrimmage there. They got one-on-one coverage on the outside, and you take advantage of Kenny Britt's size and strength.
So Kenny Britt Had the game-winning touchdown last week. Gets the score before the break after an 8-play, 66-yard drive. Barones drills the extra point. That was huge for Young and company to cut it to 21-10. 20 seconds left first half.
Well, what you're looking at is a very resilient team. I mean, it's the first team in NFL history to win 5 consecutive games after starting the season 0-6. That guy right there, Jeff Fisher, has kept this group together.
And Rich, the 59-0 debacle in New England on October the 18th, it seems like a distant memory. That's a different team that went through that heartache. They trail now 21-10, and a little bit of momentum for Tennessee heading into the locker room, obviously, unless Indianapolis returns this kick. Young 5 of 6 on the drive, 56 yards, 9 rushing yards to get a first down and keep the drive going.
Well, I really think this is the moment of truth for the Tennessee Titans this game. I mean, because of their poor start, they've really put themselves in a tough spot. And they realize they're walking on thin ice with regards to their playoff hopes. I mean, they need to find a way to win here today.
So Vince Young and the Tennessee Titans get their first touchdown of the day. And they will now kick it off to Indianapolis with Chad Simpson, the deep man, standing at the goal line. Rob Barones, he's had 3 straight games with a 50-yard field goal. This one will be a short kick. Fielded at the 27-yard line by Gian Robinson, one of the backup tight ends, H-back. Indy does have 2 timeouts to work with and 18 seconds to play here. In front 21-10. The playoff picture, Indianapolis undefeated, 11-0, looking for their 21st consecutive regular season victory, which would match the New England Patriots for the all-time NFL record. Patriots did it from 06 to 08. Cincinnati, division leader. San Diego, New England, Denver, and Jacksonville currently holding on to the wild card positions, but Pittsburgh has a very favorable schedule the rest of the way.
Yeah, and I really think if the Titans, if they can win here today, and I think they have a favorable schedule the rest of the way. 3 of their last 4 are at home, and a bunch of those teams, 3 with losing records. So talked with Jeff Fisher last night. He said this game is critical for our playoff hopes.
The Colts need about 30 yards for a 50-yard field goal attempt.
Well, this, you think about Peyton Manning, he is greedy. I mean, he never gives up. You think about the situation, 17 seconds left. They continue to push the ball down the field and really push the envelope.
The downside for them, Matt Stover does not have the range he once had. He's now in his 20th year in the NFL. Manning throwing, wobbly throw, caught by Garcon. And he curls it up to the 45-yard line of Tennessee. That's an 18-yard strike from Manning to Garcon.
Yeah, 1 more of them in the right and field goal range. Still have 1 more timeout left, so they can work the middle of the field.
Pierre Garcon, Division III All-American out of Mount Union. Matt Stover, the former Baltimore Raven, drafted by the New York Giants in the 12th round in 1990. Manning on a slant and falling down on the play, Garcon. 2 seconds come off the clock, pushing and shoving. After the play, Manning asking for the flag, and it comes down from Ron Winter. Tony Brown still jawing with Kyle DeVan.
And they usually get the one that retaliates, and my guess is it was Tony Brown in that situation.
Well, this penalty, if it is against Brown, they're trying to cool him down, will put them in field goal range.
Well, you can't afford to lose a player like Tony Brown right now. You need every defensive lineman in this game.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 97.
Boy, what a critical
15-yard
mistake.
penalty and a first down.
Well, that already puts you in field goal range.
So Manning was thrown down, and Tony Brown went down, lost his helmet, and had something to say. Oh, he had more than something to say. Stuck his finger inside the helmet of Kyle DeVan, the first-year offensive lineman out of Oregon State. So look at this march.
Boy, absolutely no reason for it. You have to keep your cool. You just can't. That's a selfish play by Tony Brown. Just not realizing the situation. Again, there's other ways to get players back, but you don't want to do that. Put your team in jeopardy.
Indy still has 1 timeout to work with. You said Peyton Manning is greedy. Well, not too greedy. They'll run it. A die up the middle. They'll play for the field goal. A 4-yard gain for a die, and they'll use the timeout. with 3 seconds left. And Brown is still talking for Tennessee.
You better be careful. You get ejected.
Now, Jeff Saturday working against Brown, and he loses his helmet.
Well, they're taking turns picking on Tony Brown right now, aren't they? Well, you got to keep your cool. This would be a good time if you're Jeff Fisher to get Tony Brown out of the game.
Tony Brown has had an excellent season. Remember, Albert Haynesworth was there, so a lot more responsibility for Brown when Haynesworth signed with the Washington Redskins. 5-year veteran, formerly with Miami, San Francisco, and Carolina. This is a 43-yard attempt for the veteran Matt Stover, nearly 2,000 career points. To add to the Indy lead, Stover. He nails it. The Colts know how to generate points. A huge penalty adds to the Indianapolis lead 24-10, and these two teams still going at it as time has expired in the first half. Indianapolis Colts 11-0, one of 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL, along with the New Orleans Saints. The Titans, they dug such a hole for themselves this season, opening up 0-6. Their margin of error is so slim.
When you think about the playoffs, certainly not out of the question. I mean, since the current 12-team playoff system was instituted in 1990, 13 teams have reached the playoffs, despite having a losing record after 11 games, including San Diego last year, who was 4-7 at this point. So Titans are certainly in the mix. They have to find a way, though, to win here today.
Pat McAfee will kick it off. Kenny Britt is deep for Tennessee. Britt on the return. And Britt trampled down short of the 20-yard line by Philip Wheeler and Jamie Silva on special teams. It's a 15-yard return. First half possessions for the Tennessee Titans.
Hey, you look at that right there. Got off to a good start, certainly with the field goal, and then, of course, the punt, the fumble, and the interception. That really set them behind, and you give certainly Peyton Manning some short fields, you're going to pay the price. But good news is they put together an 8-play, 66-yard drive before the half, so they finished on a positive note. Now they have to keep it going here this first series of the second half.
Vince Young, 14 of 22, 151 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Colts crowd the line, now back off. Chris Johnson has been held relatively in check with 57 yards rushing. And Johnson finding a gash out across the 25-yard line. And a 6-yard gain. Wheeler and Antonio Johnson collaborate to bring him down.
And what they've been able to do is eliminate the big runs with Chris Johnson. That's the key. They know he's going to get his yards. They just don't want him to get those 20 and 30-yard shots or even those 80-yard touchdown runs, which he's been so accustomed to doing this season. So that's the big key for them. Keep this guy contained at the line of scrimmage.
63 yards on the ground. His longest run has been 11 yards today on a 2nd and 4. Johnson, he's got tremendous patience waiting for holes to emerge, and Chris Johnson able to bust through one for an 8-yard gain and a first down for Tennessee.
We always talk about setting the edges defensively against a guy like Chris Johnson, but he's so nifty back there, and he does such a good job starting you one way and then cutting runs back, and that's really where he gets a lot of his big runs against these defenses.
And we've obviously focused on those long runs that he's had from scrimmage, but Mike Heimerdinger said he's actually been more impressive this year on some of those short runs, avoiding a -1, a -2, turning them into 5 or 6 yard gains. Hand off Johnson again, and Johnson bangs his way for a 3-yard gain. Dan Muir there defensively.
Yeah, I think that was a problem earlier in the season. Every time he touched the ball, he's looking for that home run, and he has become a little bit more deliberate. And I think those less negative runs and done a better job getting you some positive yardage on 1st and 2nd down, really keeping them manageable on 3rd down.
But he still hits home runs.
Yeah, he does. 3 touchdown runs at 84, 85 yards or more this season. I mean, he's averaging 6.4 a carry. This guy's as good as it gets right now in the NFL.
On a 2nd and 7, Young to throw it, deep drop, and incomplete. He was trying to find Algie Crumpler on the outside. Jamie Silva supplying some of that heat on Vince Young.
Well, the other thing he's really improved on in terms of pass protection, I think that's where you You've seen big strides with Chris Johnson. I mean, he's become a complete player at his position, not only as a runner, but and not only in the passing game, but pass protection as well.
3rd and 7. Important down here for Tennessee. Trying to jumpstart their offense early stages of the 3rd quarter. From the gun, dealing with the crowd, Young steps up and throws incomplete. It was trapped. Kenny Britt, the intended receiver, Kelvin Hayden over there defensively, and the Titans will punt at the 12:51 mark of the 3rd.
Well, you got to be careful. They was trying to lob that one into Bo Scaife, the tight end. That one got away from him. You got to be careful against a team like the Colts, who play so much zone coverage. All these corners and safeties, they have their eyes in the backfield. Careful with some of those errant throws.
And second punt of the day for Brett Kern, former Denver Bronco in his 2nd year out of Toledo. TJ rushing, averaging just under 6 yards per return. Standing at his own 17. High punt from Kern, and rushing with a fair catch at the 18-yard line. 46-yard punt. Indianapolis, number 3 in total offense this season, 393 yards per game. New Orleans and New England just above them in the rankings. They are the number 1 passing offense in the NFL, with Peyton Manning having, can you say it, a career year for a guy that's won the MVP award 3 times? Handoff to Joseph Adai, and Adai cuts his way up the gut for a 4-yard gain. David Thornton with the stop. Here's Indianapolis's first half possessions.
That's pretty simple. They either score or they punt it. I mean, if they don't turn it over, they take care of the football. And, you know, not a lot of 10-play drives, just the one, but boy, they can score quick, and that's the thing. If you're Tennessee defensively, you just can't give up the explosive plays to Peyton Manning in this offense.
On a 2nd and 6 now, motion man is Colley from the gun. Manning will throw, releasing out of the backfield is Adai, and he's hit well before the first down line. 2-yard gain. Vincent Fuller with the open field tackle, and brings up 3rd and short.
You know, you watch Peyton Manning there, all the communication that goes on, how quickly this ball comes out of his hands, but you watch him at the line of scrimmage. I mean, he has the ability to do things at the line that most quarterbacks only dream about. I mean, a lot of flexibility. He's earned that right based on his performance over the years.
On a 3rd and 4, empty backfield for the Colts. Manning, pressure coming, gets rid of it, and he's got a first down to Dallas Clark. Now let's talk a little bit about the relationship Manning and Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, a man that you're very familiar with. He coached you in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, certainly Tom Moore and Peyton Manning, they can finish each other's thoughts, and you know, they have a history together and a level of trust, and I think that's really important. I think that's why both of them just know exactly what to do in certain situations because of their time together. You see Clyde Christensen, he's more involved in the 3rd down and red zone package as well.
And Colley, physical play out across the 40-yard line, and a first down for the Colts that covers 10 yards.
But you know, you go back to Tom Moore and really his philosophy. I mean, it's not that complicated. I mean, he thinks you have to play fast and know exactly what you're doing offensively. Therefore, keep it simple. You have to be sophisticated enough to make this defense work and prepare, but at the same time, not too sophisticated that you're out there thinking too much. And really been his philosophy.
Second catch of the day for Austin Colley. Had a touchdown earlier. And the Colts are on the move with a 1st and 10. Handoff for Adai. And the Colts get a push up on the line of scrimmage for a 5-yard gain. Manning on a hot read to Garcon as the rush was coming. And Pierre Garcon showing off his hands. That's a 10-yard gain. They're in Tennessee territory, and they've got a first down.
You know, it's almost like they've conceded the fact that Reggie Wayne is locked up with Cortland Finnegan, so we won't even bother working that combination. They've really taken advantage of Pierre Garcon, that matchup against Nick Harper, and he's won that battle most of the day.
39 plays for the Colts. They have 18 first downs. Play fake. Manning, plenty of time. And guns it. Looking for Wayne. Finnegan has done a bang-up job against Reggie Wayne so far today.
You know, this guy, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's the littlest guy out there, but he plays like the biggest guy. He's got a lot of respect for Reggie Wayne. You know, we talked with him last night about this matchup today. He said, you know, Reggie Wayne, he makes every release look the same for the first 10 yards. You can't tell the difference. He's a very difficult to receiver to line up against. Very nifty.
8th play of the drive, running play. And Adai bursting through to the second level. An 11-yard gain. David Thornton had a chance to bring him down. He could not, and a dime made the Titans pay. New set of downs for the Colts to work with.
And this is where they hurt you offensively. They have so many different ways to attack you. You see right here, Joseph Adai, and one week it's Reggie Wayne, the next week it's Dallas Clark. We've seen Garcon, now Joseph Adai. I mean, they have so many different ways to get after you defensively.
From the 33-yard line, Indianapolis with a methodical drive here in the third quarter. Colley, wide receiver screen, and he's veering out of bounds with a flag down. No penalty marker. 2 penalties on each team so far today. Ron Winter has not been very busy.
Well, just the pace and tempo with which they play offensively.
Holding. Offense number 87. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And it's Reggie Wayne who picks it up. For Jim Caldwell, talking about Peyton Manning, he said he's like a computer.
Yeah,
and he almost basically is like a gifted child, that you have to treat him differently because he sees things that other guys just don't see.
Yeah, you have to continue to challenge him, stimulate him mentally, because he'll get bored.
Pump fake. And that one the Titans read perfectly as Chad Simpson is thrown down by Thornton, the linebacker who signed a 5-year, $22.5 million deal, formerly with the Indianapolis Colts.
And I love watching Peyton Manning. When it doesn't go right, boy, he gets frustrated, you know, because he demands perfection. And if it's not right, if it's not exactly as they drew it up, boy, he expects each of these players to be exactly where they're supposed to be.
On second down now and long. 2nd and 25. Manning had it knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Tony Brown. And it sets up 3rd and long for Indianapolis. 8 minutes to go in this third quarter. Colts lead at 24-10.
Yeah, you see Tony Brown right there, little game. Look at the double him, they're pushing him, they're tripling him. He's having a rough day with that offensive line of the Colts, and I really thought that was going to be the key today. They needed a big day out of this defensive line. You know, their last 9 meetings, just 3 sacks of Peyton Manning.
Well, let's see what the Colts have up their sleeve on a 3rd and 25. Manning guns it over the middle. Mike Hart makes a man miss and then brought down and across the 35-yard line. They needed 25 yards, and now they're in no man's land. Indianapolis, they're going to send Matt Stover onto the field.
Boy, how smart is this? They know the situation. All he's trying to do is check it down and just pick up some positive yardage. Play the battle of field position. And of course, you see right there, Mike Hardy breaks a couple tackles. Now you're going to give Stover a chance to kick one.
Yeah, but it's a long one. 52 yards away. His career long is 55. He did that in 1991, 18 years ago. A 52-yard attempt for Stover. And he missed it. Off to the right. Indianapolis in front of Tennessee here in the third quarter. 52-yard field goal just off the mark for Matt Stover. So the Colts lead stays at 24-10. 7:14 to play in the third. Young fires it over the middle to Algie Crumpler, and Crumpler able to move forward very close to a first down, 9.5 yards. Vince Young, solid numbers here today. Chris Johnson busting it to the outside, and a flag down as Johnson is able to turn the corner. Looks like a hold on Tennessee, and it's coming back, negating an 11-yard gain.
Offense number 85. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
And it's Nate Washington, the wide receiver, picking up the penalty.
Well, you just have to understand the situation. You got a 2nd and 1. You know, you got to trust that a guy like Chris Johnson can pick up a yard. You just can't afford to grab the jersey right there of Jacob Lacey.
Clock is moving. 6.5 to go in the third. Tennessee trailing by 2 touchdowns. Titans riding a 5-game winning streak after opening the season 0-6. Double tight end set.
You see all 8-man front up there at the line of scrimmage.
And here they come. Young in trouble. And Young gets out of it. Young circling, looking downfield, and throwing it away, out of bounds. Dan Muir had the opportunity to bring down Vince Young, couldn't complete it.
You know, Vince Young is not an easy guy to sack. You see Muir, he's got a clear shot at him, but he's such a great athlete. Look at that mobility there. Great balance. He does the next best thing here. He makes a good decision right before he goes out of bounds, throwing it away and not taking the sack.
I think Muir got tackled by his own teammate, Raheem Brock, on the sack attempt.
He's a frustrating guy. You can see right there, Daniel Muir, he is sucking some wind right now. Chasing Vince Young all over the field, not an easy task.
Crowd comes alive on a 3rd and 8. Play clock winding down. Young takes the snap, throws it over the middle, and complete. On time to Bo Scaife, and a first down for Tennessee. And when we go to New York for a Patriot update, you have no idea who it's going to be. It could be one of 7 players making a play on offense. Chris Johnson, he is stacked up as he tried to get to the outside. Antoine Bethea, first man there, and a 5-yard gain. That's another example of Johnson able to turning into positive yardage when there wasn't a whole lot there. And Johnson comes up a little bit tentative after the play, able to shake it off, back to the huddle.
When you watch the Colts defense, they get a lot of hats to the ball every time Chris Johnson gets the ball in his hands. I mean, great pursuit. They're playing with proper angles, and you have to game tackle back like Chris Johnson.
Scaife in the backfield, handoff for Johnson. They'll try the other side, and Johnson now diving forward to the 35-yard line. Fili Moala, the first man there. 21 carries, 84 yards for Johnson. It sets up a 3rd and 3. Britt, Washington, and Hawkins all on the field. 3 receivers set for Young to work with.
Boy, man-to-man coverage across the board.
Young, short drop. And too far. Flag down. Kenny Britt and Jacob Lacey. And it looks like the wide receiver is going to win this battle on the penalty.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kenny Britt has really come on the last couple of weeks.
Pass interference. Defense number 27. Penalized at the spot of the foul, and a first down.
You can see here, he's really strong. He just uses that speed right up there, and you see Lacey, he can't help himself. And what happens is these young corners, they panic, and they want to grab. See right there at the end. But Kenny Britt, I mean, leads the AFC rookies with 521 receiving yards. He's really done a nice job in filling in for Justin Gage.
20-yard penalty. Vince Young said that Kenny Britt just keeps growing up. He's got the physical aspect of it down. Now he's got to start beating defensive backs with his mind, the mental game. Up the middle, Johnson off the acceleration and brought down inside the 10. It's a 9-yard gain for Johnson, who's inching closer to 100 yards on the days at 93.
Yeah, and this offensive line, they can wear you down. Look at Kevin Mawai. They get up on the 2nd level there. You see him coming off, knocking those linebackers out of the way. This is a big, strong group up front to run behind. And Chris Johnson, he gets lost in that pile, but he's very patient. And you always see him falling forward at the end of runs.
2nd and 1 from the 6. Give is to Johnson. Johnson with a stutter step and keeps on going. Johnson takes it right to the goal line. It'll be 1st and goal inside the 1 for Tennessee.
And I go back to what Larry Coyer, the defensive coordinator of the Colts, told us on Friday. This is one of the hottest teams in football right now. Look at them finish this run. But he said they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing fast right now. That's been the difference.
9th play of the drive. Tennessee trying to inch a little closer, and a timeout taken. Rich, how about that timeout from Tennessee?
Yeah, not a good decision there. Listen, you got 1st and goal at the 1, and I think if you're Vince Young, I think he was concerned a little bit about Chris Johnson being winded. But you always have to have another play available. They should have called the quarterback sneak and gone with it.
And they lose the football on 1st and goal. Vince Young was trying to push it in. Young had the long reach to bring it back in to his body and limit the damage.
Boy, I don't know if Vince Young doesn't get it clearly. You see Kevin Mawai, he's got his hands full there, but this should never happen. This is why you work on the quarterback center exchange day 1 in training camp. Critical point in the game. They call a timeout. Now the very next opportunity they have, they fumble the snap.
2nd and goal for Tennessee. Handoff, Lendale White tripped up and short of the goal line.
Boy,
Philip Wheeler making the play, and a penalty marker thrown at the line of scrimmage.
Boy, this could get ugly. If they have a holding penalty here,
it is.
Boy, what a wasted opportunity.
Holding. Offense number 54. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That's the left guard, Eugene Amano, called on the hold.
Again, you have to know where you're at in the field. I mean, you got to be smart here. And those type of mistakes, just critical mistakes, Let's just jump back to Haunch. You could go back to the drop early in the game by Washington, the penalty, the fumble by Hall. You can't make mistakes against an undefeated football team on the road and expect to win.
Back it up now to the 11-yard line on a 2nd and goal for Tennessee. Coming up on 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Colts have a 24-10 advantage. Johnson in the backfield. Young short drop and slings it over to Bo Scaife. Quickly tackled on the perimeter by Clint Session. Give him a gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd and goal for Tennessee just inside the 10.
Well, this defense, they make you work for every yard. I mean, they're well coached. They don't give up a lot of big plays. Right here you see as soon as this ball comes out, look at Scaife. They have 2 defenders right there ready to make the tackle. They understand the scheme and they play very fast.
11th play of the drive. 3rd and goal for the Titans. They were on the 1-inch line. Young out of the pocket. Young looking for the angle. Vince Young tripped up as he got it inside the 5. And he's ruled down. No fumble on the play. Colts come away with the football.
They're going to go for it. I think you have to go for it here. Clearly, I think he's down when this ball comes out. Yep.
Clearly slipped on the play. They're going to go for it on 4th and goal. And the Colts use a timeout with 1:05 to play in the 3rd. 4th and goal for Tennessee. What do you do here, Rich?
I like the call. You know, you talked to Jeff Fisher last night. You're only going to get so many chances against this Peyton Manning team. You know, you said 1 field goal is okay. We can't afford to kick 3 or 4 field goals in this game.
On 4th down, the Titans. Young short drop up top. And hauled in, ruled incomplete. Kenny Britt was out of bounds. The Colts defense holds. Gerard Powers with the coverage.
Well, I just think he put too much air on that one. It's a great job by Gerard Powers.
Tennessee had the height advantage on the fade route. 6'3" against 5'10". Just has to be a better throw and able to convert it. And the Titans trail 24-10. Late stages 3rd quarter. Colts take over. Handoff to Adai and hit at the goal line. Titans want a safety, but Adai got it out of there. Tony Brown making the play defensively, and he didn't get it out by much.
Yeah, they get penetration right here. You're going to sit right on the right side of that offensive line. Good job here. Actually, Tony Brown, the guy that had a tough first half, he gets the penetration. I think Joseph Adai certainly his forward progress got him up to that 1-yard line there, but you know, I go back to Tennessee offensively. 5 drives of 8 plays or more, only 10 points to show for it. Jeez.
Had a 1st and goal inside the 1. Manning, quick hitter, incomplete. He was looking for Garcon. The pass was offline. And it's 3rd and long. 3rd and 11 now for Indianapolis.
Boy, this would be a big stop if you're Tennessee. Look at all the defenders up at the line of scrimmage.
And movement.
False start. You're an offensive lineman for the Colts. You have to be really patient. Boy, Peyton Manning takes his time. There's so much communication that goes on, and boy, you just have to be patient and sit in there.
Colts are in the danger zone here. Fake the handoff. Manning circling. Manning throws and caught by Reggie Wayne. Where are they going to spot the football? They'll spot it short of the 1st down. Boy, risky play. Manning forced out of the pocket initially. Jacob Ford supplying pressure. And if the Tennessee Titans have any chance of keeping this winning streak alive, they're going to have to do it in come from behind fashion in the 4th quarter. The punt from McAfee. And the return from Casevaharn. He's thrown down. Terrific field position to open up this drive. Freddie Keahu making the play on special teams. Since realignment 2002, the Colts and Titans are the only 2 teams to win the AFC South. It's been Indianapolis who has dominated the division through the years. Tennessee last year, big shocker when they finished 13-3. Can't handle the snap out of the gun. Young throwing. Was he in the grasp is the question.
Yeah, they're going to call him down. Listen, he wasn't even expecting it.
Eric Foster brings down Young.
You look, watch Vince Young here. He's looking. He's going to watch to his left. He's not expecting the snap from Kevin Mawai. Does a nice job picking it up. But you can see Foster right here. I think they're going to call him down.
So it will go down as a sack and a loss of 6 on the play. The second-year defensive tackle, versatile player Eric Foster breaking through.
Boy, a reoccurring theme with the Titans. It just, well, they keep shooting themselves in the foot. They get a great opportunity there, great field position at the 42-yard line, and allow that to happen.
Early fourth quarter. Give is to Johnson. Breaks one tackle. Cuts it upfield. And then Johnson is hit hard short of the 45-yard line. Buffet and Bullitt, a pair of safeties making plays for Indianapolis. Now New Orleans has to come from behind. Indianapolis has got the lead here. The two undefeateds looking to keep their records unblemished. Young in the pocket, throws, and a comebacker complete to Kenny Britt. And let's see where they spot the football. Oh, Britt wasn't whistled down. He stayed with the play. Antoine Bethea could not bring him down, and he angles out of bounds for a first down. A great individual effort by Kenny Britt.
Well, what a nice job here. You watch him come back, and then right here you see Bethea. He has him. You see Lacey both trying to rip that ball out, but you got to bring him down. You can't allow a player like Kenny Britt to get that first down. Big conversion by the Titans.
Chris Johnson has hit 100 yards rushing on 24 carries. And it's Johnson curling to the outside and forced out of bounds by Eric Foster. It's a 5-yard gain for Chris Johnson.
Boy, he makes the 5-yard runs look easy, doesn't he? I mean, it just doesn't even look like he's running that fast. Just very patient, but he just continues to crank away. He's already over 100. See there, 8 straight 100-yard games. Nobody's had an answer this season for Chris Johnson. If you give him enough touches, enough opportunities, boy, he's gonna get the yards.
He's gone for 125+ yards in 6 straight games, tying an NFL record with Earl Campbell and Eric Dickerson. He would set the mark with over 125 today. Young to throw on a short drop, and a quick hitter to Nate Washington. Washington brought down. Out across the 20-yard line. He's got a first down. It covers 7 yards. Gerard Powers with a tackle.
Yeah, I think it's important for the Titans to continue to throw the ball a little bit on first down. That's really helped them the last 5 weeks, and you get so many opportunities to have one-on-one coverage because of the production of Chris Johnson.
And Tennessee has been balanced here offensively. 31 running plays, 32 passing plays. Vince Young has won 9 consecutive starts. Give is to Johnson and sticks his helmet down. Johnson will pick up 2 yards on the play. On the previous play, Young hit his hand. He was flexing his fingers a bit.
Yeah, he actually hits Chris Johnson right on the head. And if you're Chris Johnson, this is not good. You have to get out of the way. You have to be firmer. You have to be more aggressive in terms of the pass protection. And you have to know where Vince Young's launch spot is.
2nd and 8. Titans are in the red zone. Play fake. Little floater, and Johnson got knocked down on the play by Antonio Johnson. Incomplete.
Yeah, they're trying to slip that little middle screen in there. You're going to see Chris Johnson. Look at the rush. Look at the offensive lineman trying to get out in front of. What happens is Chris Johnson gets caught up in the wash. He can't get out. Vince Young just tries to throw that one away.
3rd and 8 for Tennessee. They could not cash in on their last drive.
And if you're Vince Young, you got to be thinking 4-down territory here. If you can just pick up half of it, you know Jeff Fisher's going to give you another opportunity on 4th down. You have to be smart in this situation.
Young and Johnson getting on the same page. They look for Johnson. He juggles and hauls it in. Inside the 15, Raheem Brock there to touch him up. Now do you take the 3 points, or you still have that same philosophy you have to go for 7?
And look at Jeff Fisher. They have to go for 7. I mean, you got to score in these opportunities, and you just can't keep settling for field goals. It's been a problem all day, and they have not been very good in this part of the field. And
I'll just say this, though, Rich. Obviously, things could have changed on that last Indianapolis possession, but if you had the field goal last drive and a field goal this drive, right, you're chipping away. Instead, they're trying to get it all in one shot. Young from the gun, and too high. Tennessee turns it over on downs again. So Tennessee electing to go for touchdowns, or at least a first down on this last drive, a touchdown previously, and they remain 14 points down to the Indianapolis Colts. Joseph Adai. Shake and bake move to the outside, and Adai banged out of bounds at the 20-yard line by Keith Bullock. 6-yard gain for Adai, the LSU product. Injured Titan on the field after that run by Joseph Adai. 10:31 to go in this fourth quarter. We'll tell you who it is when we come back. 24-10, Indianapolis. Michael Griffin, the safety, being escorted off the field by the Tennessee medical staff. Now in his third year from Texas. Griffin injured on that run by Joseph Adai. 2nd and 4. Case Fahorn steps in for him. It's Adai again. Spin move and hit by Nick Harper, helping in run support. And no gain on the play. Let's go back to the injury.
Yeah, just keep an eye on Garcon right here. He's going to get the hit on Michael Griffin. You see Michael Griffin, he'll go right down after that. Like he might have gotten a stinger or something.
So now a 3rd and 4 for Indy. Trying to keep this drive going, use more clock. We're in the fourth quarter with the Colts in front by 14.
Well, if you need something big here if you're Tennessee defensively. A sack or a turnover would be huge.
Manning throwing to the outside and a first down. It's Adai. Joseph Adai. Again, the numbers are not going to pop off the page, but he has been very effective here today when needed.
And they're playing so much man coverage. They actually set a pick. You're going to see Garcon go inside. It makes it really difficult for Thornton to come over the top. He has Joseph Adai in man-to-man coverage. Schematically, the Colts really doing a nice job today with their plan.
Adai, 69 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. He's got 17 yards through the air. And this drive remains alive for Indy. Manning locked in. And incomplete. Garcon, the intended target. Manning knew exactly what he wanted to do as he took the snap.
Boy, he's just been off a little bit on some of these fade routes against double coverage. He's trying to stick it in between the corner and the safety there, and he just misses him on the back shoulder there. You talked to Keith Bullock, the linebacker for the Titans. He said, we really need to make Peyton Manning the thinker think. We can't show our hand early today, and right now Peyton Manning's getting the best of this defense.
He is 9-1 in his last 10 December starts. Swing pass for Simpson. And Chad Simpson crossing the 30-yard line. Nice catch and run, covers 5 yards. Dave Ball there defensively. Peyton Manning, we know when it's all said and done for him, the records will be plentiful. But Peyton every single week seems to creep a little bit higher on certain passing categories and lists. And you're talking about all-time numbers now with Peyton Manning in his 12th year, and he's still got a bunch of years in front of him.
Well, he's like a good point guard. I mean, they continue to plug different players in. He still finds a way to get him the ball.
From the gun, over the middle, in stride, Reggie Wayne. And Wayne taking into Tennessee territory. He has gone over 1,000. Reggie Wayne now 6 straight 1,000-yard receiving season.
Yeah, just a little under route. You see Cortland Finnegan there. He had a difficult time because of the stack release. And, boy, they just do simple things. It's not all that complicated. But, boy, you get a guy like Reggie Wayne into the transition of the run. You can pick up a lot of yards.
And, again, the placement by Peyton Manning. It's right on the upfield shoulder, in stride to Reggie Wayne. That's where practice pays off for the Indianapolis Colts. Under 8 minutes to go now in the fourth. And the give is to Adai, slithering through a hole. Dallas Clark with a good block. And Adai gains 9 on the running play. Peyton Manning now within 24 yards of 4th all-time. Brett Favre, Dan Marino, John Elway, and Warren Moon is next on his list.
Yeah, and it's important to Peyton Manning. I know that he's very aware of what Brett Favre's doing. Those other 3 players, Hall of Famers. This guy has had a Hall of Fame career. Just continue. It's every week with him. I mean, there's never a drop-off. You think of Peyton Manning, you think of one word: consistency.
And the other key? He's never missed a start, Rich.
Yeah, that's his value. That's his value to this football team.
2nd and 1. Austin Collie, enough for a first down. It's a 2-yard gain. Case Fajarn with a hit. Indianapolis next up. Home for the Denver Broncos. We'll have it for you here on CBS. Then at Jacksonville, they take on the New York Jets at Buffalo to wrap things up. You know, personally, I don't think going undefeated is a priority for this team. We know in the past under Tony Dungy, who, by the way, Jim Caldwell speaks to once a week, they never would push it late in the season if they had things wrapped up. They'd work in second teamers, they'd get Peyton Manning a breather here and there. He'd start, but only play a quarter or maybe a half as a dive with a spin move. I don't know how they're going to handle it down the stretch, but on the list of priorities, undefeated is not number one.
No, they just want to be playing their best football in the playoffs, certainly in the month of January. They want to be healthy, but keep in mind, they have a quarterback in Peyton Manning who doesn't like to take days off, as you mentioned, Ina. This guy wants to take all the reps. He wants to take all the snaps. And, you know, you think about it, he's taken every snap in 159 of his 187 games. You know, break it down even more. It's 11,314 of a possible 11,691 snaps. This guy, he's a rep hog.
Is that a
Jim
compliment?
Sorgi, I feel bad for the guy. He's never going to get a chance to play here in Indy.
Handoff to Adai, and Adai dives forward across the 35. Now, we're going to have plenty of time over the final month of the season to talk about the philosophy. Do you play your guys when you have things wrapped up, or do you sit them? Do you try to keep them fresh, or do you feel as if it's better to get the reps in come playoff time? Sorgi's been dealing with a shoulder injury, by the way, and he's actually listed as the 3rd quarterback. Curtis Painter is officially the backup right now, the rookie out of Purdue. Look, Indianapolis has had enough 1-and-outs in the playoffs that I think Peyton Manning does not want the time off. He just wants to keep going and keep the chemistry alive.
Yeah, it's important rhythm, and I think that's a big part of this offense. You look at that throw right there to Reggie Wayne.
And Wayne accelerates out across the 25-yard line. That's another Indianapolis first down as that clock is churning away on Tennessee.
It's all about timing and rhythm of the passing game right here. He gets it out quick. Look at the offensive line get out in front of it. Reggie Wayne very decisive. And when you talk about the passing game, it starts and ends with protection. Clearly, Peyton Manning understands protection as well as any quarterback in the league.
Now, this is a Reggie that doesn't want to be known as Mr. October. He wants to be known as Mr. January. Mike Hart in the backfield. And Hart taking it to the perimeter. Thornton and Bullock there to collaborate on Hart. This drive has lasted 7 minutes. It's the 13th play for Indianapolis. They know how to put a game on ice. They've had to come from behind quite a bit this year. 11 wins, 5 of those 4th quarter comebacks. Good cut by Hart. And Mike Hart getting the opportunity with Donald Brown out. And it's a 5-yard gain for Hart.
Yeah, you talk about their 4-minute offense. It's the end of the game where they have a lead, where they want to ice it.
Indianapolis Colts closing in on a 12-0 start to this 2009 season. What an incredible run this has been for Indy. 3rd and 3. Handoff. At first it didn't look like Mike Hart was ready for it. David Thornton there to stop him. And the Colts will send the field goal unit on with 3:17 to go. Tennessee has used the timeout, and they stop the clock. You know, in looking at this Indianapolis offense, Rich, preparation for this game and for games in the past, this isn't the most intricate offense in the NFL, is it?
No, it's not the most complicated, but everybody understands what to do, where they're supposed to be, and I think the important thing is they do it fast. They don't give you a chance defensively to get lined up. They're continuing to attack. That's their style. That's their nature. And, boy, they really get after you.
36-yard field goal attempt. And planning for the future as well with that man, Clyde Christensen, who will ultimately take over the play calling duties when the time is right. Matt Stover on from 36 yards away. And he's got it. Indianapolis takes a 27-10 lead with 3:14 remaining here in the 4th. Indianapolis Colts. Well, we know that they're capable of coming from behind. They've had 5 straight wins when trailing in the 4th quarter. That's an NFL record. And this team is a tremendous front runner as well. When they've got the lead, they know how to make it stick with long drives like we just saw. You can't come from behind if you can't get the football back.
No, you know, it hasn't been easy for the Colts this year. You think about their 11-0 record, but 7 of their wins have been decided by 8 points or less, as you just mentioned. They've had to come from behind a number of times in the fourth quarter, but it really felt like the key today was Tennessee keeping this one close. They didn't do it. They failed on a number of opportunities here today.
Kenny Britt, the return man. Tennessee needs some kind of jolt at this point. And it's Britt racing to the outside. He got slowed down from behind. It looked like Britt might be able to go the distance. Tim Jennings fast in his own right, and a 55-yard return.
Boy, I tell you what, Kenny Britt surprised some people right here. I think most importantly, it was Jennings right there at the end of this. I mean, he finds the opening, and then right here, he just starts to kick it into another gear, and Jennings right there, whoa, surprise. Good job there by Tim Jennings saving that touchdown.
3:04 to go in the fourth. Titans are down by 17. Jennings remains on the field defensively for Indianapolis. And Chris Johnson, who's got 107 yards on the ground. Not sure he's going to get many opportunities here with the team down 27-10. Well, he gets one. And it's Johnson looking for a running lane and cuts it up just short of the 40-yard line. They'll give him forward progress. Melvin Bullitt leading that charge for the Colts defensively. It's a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, the big difference today for Chris Johnson, and he didn't bust off the big one, and that's been kind of the common theme the last 5 weeks for Tennessee, and you got to really tip your hat to the job the Colts did today, corralling him, not giving up the big run.
And Young to throw it on 2nd and 4. He'll dump it off to Johnson. Makes his move and a spin, not quite enough for a first down. Raheem Brock throwing him down after the gain of 2 yards. Clock is moving, 2:19 and counting left in the fourth. A 3rd and 2 now for Tennessee.
And you look at Raheem Brock there, they do a nice job defensively. They continue to rotate that defensive line. Continue to keep those guys fresh throughout the course of the game.
From the gun, same play. And Johnson, the spin move for a first down. And we'll hit the 2-minute warning here in the fourth. First down for Indianapolis. Just under 2 minutes to play. Young throwing and looking for the touchdown downfield. And it's incomplete. Out of bounds. Antoine Bethea hauled it in. It'll be 2nd and 10 here for Tennessee.
Well, this one, he doesn't even give him a chance. I mean, it's clearly out of bounds. And forcing that one into 2 deep coverage. Kenny Britt had no chance there. You can see Bethea over the top. They do a good job in their 2 deep coverage, particularly late in games. They'll give you all the completions you want in the middle of the field. They'll rally to make the stop. Just not going to let you throw the ball down the field.
Young from the gun again. And juggled and caught by Nate Washington. That's a good grab by Washington. But the clock is moving, 1:40 left.
Very good throw and very good catch. Actually, pretty good coverage there by Tim Jennings.
Jeff Fisher has no more timeouts to work with. On first down, just short of the 15-yard line, Young. Throwing, end zone, open, and touchdown, Bo Scaife. Scaife took a shot as the Titans draw closer. But Indianapolis has got the cushion. 27-16 now. 1:23 to go in the fourth.
Yep. Good job, good protection. You watch Vince Young. He's made some very good throws today when he's had time to set his feet. I think that's the key right there, and great concentration by Bo Scaife. He knows he's going to get hit in the back of that end zone, running that seam route. Good concentration by Bo Scaife.
And first touchdown of the season for Scaife. Baronis on for the extra point to make this a 10-point game with 1:23 left. And he knocks it through. 27-17, Indianapolis. The Titans' playoff hopes resurrected with the winning streak.
Yeah, it's too bad. I really felt they had a favorable schedule. Like you said earlier, 3 of their last 4 at home, and 3 of them against teams with losing records. But you know, they've lost those 6 losses. They were conference games. I think that We talked with Jeff Fisher last night. He knew that was going to be an issue if they weren't able to win today.
Well, to drop to 5-7, you're just talking about too many teams in front of them, with Denver, Jacksonville, Baltimore, the Jets, Steelers, Miami, and Houston all still in the mix. But a number of those teams on the periphery right now. Well, for Jeff Fisher and the Titans, they'll be home for St. Louis. It'll be a winnable game. Take on a tough Miami team. Very difficult matchup with San Diego. Seattle to wrap things up. The game we'll have for you on CBS on January the 3rd.
Yeah, all games that they could win. Even the San Diego game, that was at home, and you think that's going to be a short week with San Diego having to travel on Christmas Eve. So they felt good about that, but they knew they couldn't look past the Colts.
TJ rushing is deep. He's not going to get a chance to even catch this ball, as Baronis will put some spin on it. And a little trickery here from Baronis, up in the air. And Clark couldn't handle it. Scramble for the loose ball. And the Titans have got it. Tennessee comes away with it.
Boy, nice job there by the Titans. They had their best guy in position to make that play, Dallas Clark. You talk about the hands team. You couldn't ask for a better guy to be in position, Dallas Clark, and he's not able to field that one.
Kevin Casevaharn.
But boy, the trickery forces the Colts to make the adjustment. You see him flying there, and actually it looks like he gets screened a little bit, but you couldn't ask for a better situation if you're the Colts to have Dallas Clark in position to make that play.
So hold on here with 1:21 left, and Indianapolis in front, 27-17. Titans have a 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, no timeouts left. And you look at this shell, you look at the coverage, they're going to allow you to check the ball down. They're going to allow you to throw the ball in the middle of the field.
From the gun, Young throwing over the head of his intended receiver, Lavelle Hawkins. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 1:17 to go. We know what the Titans did last week. Dramatic come from behind win over Arizona. 18-play, 99-yard drive for the win. A little different situation though this week. They're still down 2 scores to the Indianapolis Colts, and 1:17 left on the clock and no timeouts.
Well, you know, you look at Vince Young. I really think this guy's a work in progress, but I like what I've seen. I think he's really turned the corner. I think sitting down and watching Kerry Collins play, I think he's really grown up.
Young under pressure, Dwight Freeney.
And that's where he's got to get better. You know, there's opportunities there. You have to hit them when they're open, and you just, a game like this, boy, you almost have to be perfect. I think his accuracy is one area where he can improve.
Shotgun for Young. 1:09 left. Young has time. Young throwing, incomplete. He skied it over the head of Nate Washington, and it's 4th down for Tennessee.
Yeah, these are almost impossible situations. You're trying to pick up big chunks of yards. They're only rushing 3, dropping a lot of people in coverage, and you're trying to work those boundaries, and the Colts are not going to let you complete a ball on the boundary.
Fourth down now for Tennessee. Trying to convert and stay alive. Young throwing on the move. Deep ball up in the air and too far. Incomplete. Nate Washington was down there. And the Colts take over with 57 seconds to play. And this one is over.
Yeah, that was the difference this week. Just a couple opportunities, just wasn't able to convert.
And there it is for Indianapolis, 21 in a row in the regular season to match the New England Patriots.
You know, it's really amazing when you think about what they've been able to accomplish. I mean, it's the first team in NFL history with 7 straight seasons of at least 11 wins. I just think you think about the players and the coaches, even a guy like Tony Dungy and Napoleon's the general manager, the owner. You think about this team, and you think about consistency. That's what they represent. That's what's really impressed me the most about the Colts today.
And Jim Caldwell, only rookie head coach in NFL history to win his first 12 games. Peyton Manning takes a knee. For the Titans, the winning streak is over. It ends at 5 in a row for Jeff Fisher and the rest of the Tennessee Titans. They'll drop to 5-7. The Indianapolis Colts have tied an NFL record for the most consecutive regular season victories, 21 in a row, matching the New England Patriots.